I think RPCMC helped me grow in my faith more because my old church, I told my friends like how I'm not growing in my faith. So finding a church that is very supportive and very welcoming, and I feel like also like being a small group, starting as a small group, it made me feel more comfortable going into it instead of like a big crowd. So yeah, that's how it impacted me.
I was anointed to play the keyboard. So I think that's like a big impact because that's something I never really like saw myself doing. Yeah.
Spirituality, improvement for my growth that applies for within my family, how I approach things in my education or professionally or work, just everything overall that affects my how I perceive things in life.
By being really open and welcoming, I guess, to everyone. It also has impacted my life spiritually and faithfully to grow, or for me to grow in my relationship with God.
I think that church impacted my life by being the fact that I'm so involved in the church and the ministry of praise and worship, and also helping the events planning and stuff. I think that impacted me the most because before I was kind of just a member of the church, but not really involved in the church. So now I feel like I'm closer to God if I'm serving Him in that way.
I think the biggest reason would be the size of our church, because I don't think I would be this involved in any ministry in any church if our church didn't start off so small. And I guess it helped me get closer to everyone and be comfortable.
Message probably is the very first one, like the one at my house, like where my dad taught about like new beginnings. Cause like I remember like a verse that he mentioned, which was from Isaiah or something about like do not dwell like on your past, like do not dwell on like the mistakes, because like it stops you or hinders you from doing the best that you can like right now. Like that's the like yes, that's like the thing that really impacted me a lot, and I still remember from now on.
It's the message about doing or praising the Lord with your heart and not for fame or for other people. Because I always see like so much big churches and so much good organizations that they worship the Lord, but I really don't know if they're doing it for themselves, for fame, or for God.
The one by Pastor Jonas where he talked about the foundation, and basically it was about having a firm and strong foundation, and how important it is, especially for a church that's like ours that's just starting, because a lot of members could get discouraged and not see the growth in the church. But if you have that strong foundation, nothing will shake you.
It was this one message by Pastor Jonas where he mentioned how grace is given to us so that we can give out grace, and I guess that changed my perspective on how I live my daily life, because it teaches me that like whatever happens, nothing can amount to what God did for us, and that it's our job to give it towards other people as well.
The message that really hit me hard was probably the one by Pastor Edwin where his message was about prayer. So prayer of faith. I guess in the face of every obstacles that we face, prayer is the right response, and everything that we do in life must always start in prayer, and it shouldn't be last option.
Well, I could vaguely remember, but there was a message on like God's love for us, that he has an unconditional love for us despite us being sinners. Though it's still like he's still a righteous God, because even though he loves us, if we sin, then we still need to face the consequences.
It was actually the recent message from Pastor Jonas. It was the change start within yourself, and being able to go out to others, meaning you have to be able to transform yourself in the image of God, and you'll be able to like impact others more in a godly way.
Like I said, the music ministry, because I started learning the keyboard, well, relearning, because I learned it a few years ago in the Philippines. So it's something now I can now put to use for worshiping God. So I think that's a good opportunity that I've been given.
For sure, being the first youth leader slash coordinator, when we were just starting off, I remember it was at Pastor Edwin's house. Both pastors came up to me saying that I'm going to be, or they asked me if I wanted to be the kind of the leader for the youth, because we really didn't have anybody. It was just like 3 or 4 families. And I said, yeah, of course, why not? And I think that God really helped me grow, and like we would be doing our youth lessons like at different people's houses, and I think that just that one single thing was a challenge for me, and it was also an opportunity for me to grow in my faith, and for me to share like the experiences I had with amongst other youth in this church.
First it was the scripture reading, and I was very shy at that time. I really didn't know how to like talk to other people, and I guess I'm an introvert at first. And then after that I went to testimony, where it just the person that was supposed to do it wasn't there at present, and I just did it, and that kind of gave me a leeway to express myself, or it like really connects where I want to be as like a teacher in the future, and it kind of expresses my strong ability to do that.
I think the opportunities the church has given me is being able to sing, because I always wanted to sing when we were in our old church, but I never really got the chance to, because I was still young, and it gave me an opportunity to help other new members who wants to sing in our church, to teach them what we've learned.
But for this church, it opened up like opportunities for me to like play guitar, to like master like what I want to do, and then to play the drums, because like that wasn't really my like passion, you can say. But then like at that time, like last year, no one played it, so I had to be the one to step up, and then that kind of like challenged me and test the confidence that I had in myself.
I was given the opportunity to play a new instrument, which obviously I can use to continue to praise and worship the Lord through praise and worship.
When we first started, there was only one musician that could really play an instrument, and everybody in the praise team now, they just learned, and I saw how determined and committed they are to the praise and worship, and willing, because they really like, these are the people that you'd never thought would be playing an instrument or would even be up front doing something. And it just really shows that God really calls those who, no, God doesn't call those who are able, He qualifies those who say yes to His calling. And that just shows that everyone here, He touched everybody's hearts to serve Him and said yes to His calling.
I would like to see our church in a new building, or a bigger building, and a lot more members. Our church is fine with like a few members, but it'll be nice if there's a lot more.
Nice.
In a few years, I see the church growing more in their faith and growing more fruitful, I guess, and I see more like new ministries to come as people learn about what their gifts are.
Like to grow in numbers, like more people in the church, more people getting involved, and like being able to like run events like a youth night, because I want to do that like someday, like us running it, and like yeah, being able to just draw people near to Christ.
Definitely in a bigger building. I mean, this building was really a blessing. Like we got this within a year of having our church, more members, more ministries, and just everyone growing in their faith.
I would like to see the church with more ministries, more missions, more souls to be saved, and whatever God's will be done.